Guys, so this might be a little bit of a short video, but I am going to be, what was I gonna call it? Um, I am gonna be doing this a pretty good, amount of time. So let's get into the video. So this is what Deku was Ghost Rider Part 1. Now, guys, whatchamacallit? Oh yeah, so I did do What If Deku was Hellboy, and I also did do What If Deku was Spider-Man, but I forgot about that old series, so I am gonna be just talking about the video, not the video. Basically, I am gonna be making another Spider-Man what if Deku was Miles Morales instead of just Spider-Man, and also I am gonna be doing a what if on what if Deku um was a time traveler, or what if Deku was um a demigod or a god, like a Greek god. So yeah, so basically, in this what if, Deku's basically gonna have the same origin story, but no, not the same origin story. An origin story that I am gonna be taking multiple aspects of every Ghost Rider's origin story and putting them together into one, or into a half of one. So basically, Deku in this universe is stillborn quirkless, but in this universe, Deku has always had a fascination with motorcycles and stuff like that. So basically, when Deku was a kid, Deku went basically when Deku turned 16 or 14. Yep, Deku turned 14. He got his first dirt bike. Deku rode everywhere to it, to school, to the mall, everywhere. So basically, Deku did all sorts of tricks and was always outside, in the forest area of Japan, riding around into the forest and in the woods. One day, Deku was riding, and pretty much Deku was riding down, the highway, because in this universe now, when we did a time skip, and Deku's now 16. Deku's driving, and pretty much Deku sees that it's a car coming the opposite way. Deku confused, and the car pretty much crashes into multiple cars and making a road jam, making a huge, astronomically death. So many people died in that accident. All cars got flipped over, crushed, burned, or exploded. Deku, on the other hand, he was basically his what was it, bike got stopped by one of the cars, and he flew off his bike and fell onto a car, and a car next to the truck that rammed in all the other cars, and the truck tipped over and crushed Deku on top of the car. Pretty much after that, Deku just died. Now, 20 minutes later, after all the police showed up and the heroes, they got everybody to safety, but they did find Deku's dead body. They took Deku to the, you know, um, pretty much morgue and stuff like that. And pretty much Deku was, is getting, ready to get a funeral, and Deku's at the morgue at this point. They're trying to, inflate Deku's body, or at least trying to make his body look as, you know, perfect, as human as possible. So basically, they start, tinkering with Deku's body, trying to, um, and, you know, make him look, not too crushed or smushed. And eventually, before they can even cut into Deku's skin, Deku wakes up. Now, I'm going to tell you how Deku woke up. So basically, as Deku got crushed, Deku saw a weird, dark light. Some sort of gray energy. Deku run towards it, thinking that was the white light. But it started turning red and orange, and pretty much engulfed into flames. Deku was confused, and then one thought rushed into Deku's head. Am I in HEL? L? So basically, Deku starts panicking and running the other opposite way, but a bony or skeleton-like hand grabs Deku's shoulder and says, "You're next." And pretty much Deku feels immense pain, like his veins are being turned into fire. Deku wakes up in the morgue, and that's how Deku woke up. Deku wakes up, and the doctors are confused. They just think Deku has some sort of reincarnation quirk or some sort of healing quirk, so basically they let Deku go. They do some, medical attention, and pretty much Deku's mother is, pretty freaked out because Deku doesn't have any type of regeneration or mortal quirk. So basically, Deku says, "It's okay, Mom. I'm good." And basically, Deku gets ready and basically starts, over the 10-month arc training, because Deku's, whole entire crash thing happened the last day of school. So basically, Deku, pretty much goes back home, rests for a couple of days, and pretty much starts going to train. Over the couple of days, Deku becomes, more aware of his surroundings and pretty much starts, training. And over about 1 week through, Deku's, coming back from the dead, Deku starts developing his Ghost Rider powers. Deku seeing that his hands or his skin is turning red in weird places and he's always hot or smoking. Deku always, every time Deku went towards his bike, because his bike was pretty okay, it was okay enough so people could fix it. So Deku's bike was still, okay. But Deku went over to his bike, and pretty much every time he went to his bike, it suddenly turned on, like, automatically. Deku didn't even have to be on it. It just turned on for some reason. Deku was confused, but over the last couple of days, Deku found out that he had the powers of the Ghost Rider. One night, Deku was riding on his bike, and the next minute, Deku was riding, and out of nowhere, Deku's bike engulfed into flames. Deku starts, panicking, and he crashes into an old man. The old man dodges Deku's, bike in an instant, like he has superhuman speed or something. And Deku gets up. He says, sorry, sir. And pretty much the man says, it's okay. And whispers in Deku's ears and says, I hope you like your power now. But you're gonna have to have a price to pay with it. Deku's confused and says, what do you mean? And the man's gone. So Deku basically just gets back up, grabs his bike, and drives off. Deku's driving and driving and driving, and pretty much, just going around Japan, trying to clear his mind. And pretty much out of nowhere, Deku's bike engulfs in the flames again. Deku, is trying to swerve, but Deku sees that his body is catching on fire, and Deku sees bone. Deku blacks out, and the next morning Deku is in his room with scorch marks all around his room. Like, no hand scorch marks or feet scorch marks. And also a bunch of ash on Deku's bed. Deku is looking around and he sees the news and he says that it was a burning man in a black leather suit. Because Deku in this universe actually has a leather jacket with what was it? With Deku, engraved or stitched on the back of it in white. So basically Deku, went around the neighborhood pretty much taking down villains, but not really taking them down, more or less taking them out and killing them. So basically Deku was pretty confused. So over the next, week, Deku, started conjuring up his powers and found out that he could turn into the Ghost Rider or his alternate, what was it, personality at daytime as long as he had some sort of, hoodie or some sort of, you know, whatchamacallit, if he was inside or if it wasn't that much light shining on top of Deku. So Deku also did, over the past 10 months, did find out that he could control the Ghost Rider at nighttime pretty well. So basically, if Deku lost control at nighttime with the Ghost Rider basically just go after people and kill them. Deku basically controlled the Ghost Rider for a good amount of time before he blacked out, and after that amount of time, Deku would rather black out about at 11 o'clock. So basically, Deku never really, passed out at a very, recent time and let the Ghost Rider come take over. Now, Deku in this universe, the Ghost Rider is going to be a lot more stronger because it's not going to be pushed back by Deku's emotions. Now, Deku is going to go full on Ghost Rider in one of these what ifs, but for now, Deku's going to be, controllive. So basically, Deku finds out that he can turn certain parts of his body into the Ghost Rider at daytime as well. So Deku can turn his skull into Ghost Rider, or Ghost Rider his hand, or, transform his hand and conjure up flames from his hand. So basically, Deku gets pyrokinesis in this form because multiple Ghost Riders have multiple different powers. So basically, Deku has pyrokinesis, all the, you know, classic Ghost Rider powers with, the Penance Stare and regeneration, all that other stuff. So basically, Deku has the Penance Stare, all the classic, you know, normal powers that Ghost Rider comes with. Deku also has the power to, transform other objects and imbue his power into them, like, normal Ghost Riders have. But Deku also has pyrokinesis and also has the power to basically um, make anything catch on fire just by looking at it. So it's a pretty cool power. So basically, Deku buys an actual bike and basically gets ready and imbues his power into the bike. So basically, Deku goes to the entrance exams, aces it. I'm not gonna really talk, very smoothly with it, but Deku goes to the entrance exam and pretty much doesn't talk to anybody. He just goes there. He starts the entrance exams and pretty much just transforms both of his arms into the Ghost Rider, and pretty much just throwing fireballs at the robots, burning them, throwing a big amount of flames towards them. Deku, wins pretty easily and gets a pretty good score, acing the entrance exams and going to, UA the next day. Deku goes to UA, Class 1A, and walks into class. Deku sees all of his class members, sitting down, and Deku sits down as well. So Deku's, looking around, and you guys can go in the comments and decide who Deku should be shipped with. Up to you guys. So basically, Deku, is sitting down, and basically out of nowhere, Ozawa walks in class and explains to the class we're doing quirk assessments, and they get ready. They get ready, and pretty much they, what should we call it? Outside, and Deku's told to throw the ball first because he got the highest score. Deku transforms his left hand into the Ghost Rider and pretty much throws the ball, shooting flames behind it, pushing it farther, using the normal amount of strength that Ghost Rider has, and Ghost Rider is pretty strong. So Deku, gets a pretty good score, and for the long jump, Deku transforms the lower half of his body into the Ghost Rider and jumps pretty high. The race, again, and for the grip test strength, his whole entire body. So Deku, is pretty cool. So pretty much after that, everybody's looking at Deku's quirk, seeing that's pretty cool. So basically, Deku after that gets about second place. Todoroki gets first, and Bakugo gets third. So Bakugo still in this canon is still mad at Deku because he didn't know Deku had some sort of power like that. So Bakugo tries to beat up Deku, but Deku, acts quicker than Ozawa could stop, Bakugo in this canon. And pretty much Deku transforms into the Ghost Rider, full-on Ghost Rider, and grabs Bakugo's head and pretty much throws him on the ground. He's about to do the pincer on him, but Ozawa stops Deku, but Deku's about to burn through the, stuff. But Deku sees that, this might be a one-way ticket to be expelled, so basically Deku just stops. So Ozawa helps Bakugo and says, don't do that again, and don't do that again to Deku. I mean, yeah. Sorry guys, I'm messing up right now. But yeah, I'm doing this pretty late, and I didn't do this on a script at all. I basically just did this, randomly. So basically, after that, Deku just goes back home, and I'm gonna leave it off here, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Bye. And the part 2 is gonna be a lot more, more planned, and it's not gonna be so low energy. So guys, see you guys later. Bye. Deuces.